Björn Schu is a sculptor who creates complex viewer-activated machines that combine movement, surveillance, and sound. Equal parts art and science, his works play on our relationship to technology. Slow, deliberate movements in his sculpture consider mass and weight of form, while their striking physical presence is anchored in the formal vocabulary of modern abstraction. His constructions disrupt, and disorient the viewer's expectation, staging an unpredictable behavioral exchange between the audience and the machine. Today, he will present a talk titled Sentinel is Watching You. Please take a moment to silence all electronic devices, but feel free to tweet using hashtag Dawn or Doom. Thank you and enjoy.
Yeah, hello, I'm Björn Schu. I'm very glad that I can talk here on Dawn to Doom. Very glad also to invite it to this great Ringel Galleries. Thank you, Fabian, for bringing me in, and also especially Michael for doing the help, and yours Shen for doing the really great help with setting up the show. So I'm a moment. I'm coming from Germany, Cologne, where I live and work, and I'm sorry, I'm not a good talker. I'm building my work, so we'll see downstairs. My education is, I've studied photography in Bielefeld, a small town, photo design, and later at the Academy of Media Arts in Cologne, I did a postgraduate. But very early in my childhood, I began to work with technology. So my first pieces are really pieces as I was a child with cracking toys, electric toys my parents gave me, and I had to look inside directly what's going on, and the toys were really after destroyed, but I was lucky to learn a little bit out of this. With studying at the Academy of Media Arts, I did a little bit to focus on using technology, and my biggest interest was very quick to build, construct, develop pieces using surveillance technology, because I think the surveillance technology, the developing, and also what you have in variable computing, like smartphones that are also kind of surveillance pieces. It changed very much the society in the last 10, 20 years. The using of data where 20 years ago in Germany, but I'm sure also in other countries, people had a kind of fear about to give so much information about itself to others, to private informations, and or to the government, or however. But now, with using this, because everything is so nice and so practical, you can make photos, however, everything, social media. The people today, it's selbstverständlich. What's selbstverständlich, Fabian? It's taken for granted to use this, and this is a big change in handling with these technologies. In my art, I like to give questions about, is our technology something good or evil? I don't like to say it is like good or evil, but I like to open the mind for thinking more about how to handle with this. Maybe we have to find new rules and to be keep care that this technology not ends too much in the hands of maybe government, maybe dictatorships, because a surveillance camera or smartphone, it's a spy of others you wear with you in your pocket, but we usually don't think about it. And other people, now there's more companies like maybe Google or Amazon or Apple, who try to because of the commercial impact that give try to influence you maybe a bit in your behavior. But what is if a government or especially a dictator use also devices to control you, and you are in the end maybe the marionette of. But I don't like to be too pessimistic. There are also really a lot of very good sides in this technology, and so by myself I'm using it as well. Yeah, in the Ringel Gallery are my artworks to see, so the most are equipped with cameras, surveillance cameras, motion sensors. They're very fragile construction, made out of carbon fiber and fiberglass, and dealing with efficiency also a bit, because very tiny motors bringing bigger constructions to life. Yeah, so it's something, watch out what's happened and keep your brain free, think how to use it for the future, And I will start with my video. I have a little presentation about selected artwork I did in the last 10, 15 years here in this video. And I will start with my video with a thing from 1905. It's not my work. There wasn't on the Earth, but it's a pigeon equipped with a camera. And this was, I think, one of the first drones. Moment. So this Julius Neubrunner developed this pigeon equipped with a camera. One moment. Sorry. So, there. And this was used in the First World War, also from a couple of countries, and to make to fly to the enemy, maybe to make Luftaufnahmen area photography, and that's what is Letterbrieftaube? Kind of male pigeons, so they came back, and the people could develop the films and see what's going on where the enemy is. So this is a horrible German construction. It was the first flying bomb, and really the mass destroying started. And another Belgian artist, Panamarenko, I personally I like very much his works. Did a kind of artistic answer to this drawing machine that I would only like to show you because Panamarenko is one of my favorite artists I know. So now are coming my works. And so this is drone number 2. That was one of the first surveillance pieces I did. And this is yeah, also very fragile construction hanging from the ceiling, equipped with a monitor, a couple of cameras, and solar panels to run with the lights. So it's a kind of the idea, an autonomous thing. I build it. If it's hanging, then it gets energy for living in a way. So that was yeah, the first bigger piece I did with working with cameras. So vision machine number 8 is a piece where a camera is faced to the monitor and sees their own video signal. And there starts an optical effect, a kind of video loop. So the images are doubling because the camera sees their own picture and there is an optical feedback. There's a little kind kinetic mirror, and this mirror grabs from time to time information from outside, bringing in this self-contained system. Now it's Planet Space Rover. This is a piece it's built as an outdoor piece. Now it's in a museum in Germany. And it's powered also by solar. And it's a kind of robot coming from another world, from another planet to us and try to explore us. So what I love in my work is, as an artist, is also to deal with kind of with rules of design, architecture, research. So that's not clear. Is it art for the first view? Maybe it could be a research machine or something else to confuse a bit the audience in the first moment. And yeah, often they also have a kind of humor and how to realize, is it too big or is it, do I have the possibilities by myself? I manufacture everything by myself except the huge airport piece. It was a boat builder. It's a huge body parts, but usually it's all self-developed, constructed, built. Yeah, and then I make detailed sketches about connections, joints, kinetics, and start to build with the main body part or however what's the first step is, and then the whole time comes a point where I don't know how to solve a problem, and I have to think about it. And sometimes if I don't know how to do it, I have to work around this problem to make it another way, find other directions. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so my piece is not a real surveillance camera, so I had to underwrite in the contract that I don't have these pictures on my screen at home in Germany, or it's not recorded. And I think it's maybe it's a problem or not. Yeah, if a real surveillance camera, it's designed as an artwork, then it's not the art, it's a design maybe. Okay, you can have a funny surveillance camera design, but to have it as an artwork that the company blah 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 uses as an art for grabbing images of other people, of other what's happened, I don't know. I wouldn't do that, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess all these machines have programs in them so that they can know when to move, how to move. Do you write the codes by yourself? And
no, I don't write the codes by myself. Sorry. I'm working with since with an engineer together who develop the electronics. Often they are really for this build. Very simple one. This is nothing complex. It's but I'm for my thinking or for my skills, I'm not good in writing codes. So it's I give this to professionals. Really, my part is to get the idea and to work with the materials. I'm more a sculptor. So. Yeah, sure. I give the direction. I work this codes with the engineer together out to that the work is doing this what I like to have. So it's I not use prepared programs or stuff. So it's written for the piece what I like to have. Yeah. Yeah.
So do you store your footage or you just a one-time video? Does it matter if you look at them or only for people to look at themselves on the screen?
It stores the image. No, it's only to look for the people. It's not store the image. Yeah.
Some of your pieces downstairs look very fragile. How do you transport them?
Yeah, that's you need very special crates or boxes with a lot of foam, or some parts I disconnect then, or the gallery team has to disconnect because I'm leaving soon, and pack it. It's I make this. They're usually out screwed together in a way, or that they're in the packing much smaller, so huge pieces are much smaller and not so fragile then if they are disassembled. Yep. Okay, Fabian.
This is just a quick question, Björn, but many of your pieces are suspended from the ceiling, or they evoke this idea of flight. Are you ever thinking about making them actually fly?
Yeah, I would love to do, but this is difficult to combine it often as a kind of artwork for me. Maybe it's a more concept. You could make maybe a concept thing. But I love more this really the sculpture, and if I start to build something who really flies, maybe I'm missing the skills for doing it, or it's very quick too heavy, or not from the aerodynamic parts, or however. It will only fly maybe one time and then crash totally. It could be a performance, maybe, yeah, art performance.
And this maybe just as a quick follow-up, because I know that we have a very strong space and air engineering program here at Purdue University. So I don't know if there's anybody in the room here, but if there are potential collaborators maybe, so please let Björn know, I would say. So I think he's very open to the idea of having his sculptures fly very soon.
Great, yeah. That would be a challenge, for sure. Yeah.
I realize that you create your art for entertainment and, learning, but are you ever concerned that your public installations, like the one in the airport, are being used by the airport to identify people who put the bag up and don't want to be seen?
So I built the whole inside, so if they crack it, the piece in a way, or change the technology inside, they can use it for sure, but that's not in my hands. So I build it, but so with this technology inside, it's not possible to bring the pictures outside. But I don't know. So for my contract, they have to ask me to change the design. If they do it, I don't know, but it's a public art, so I'm the author, so they have to ask me if they remove to build or redesign this.
Not to alter your art, but that they have cameras watching your art to see that person's, reaction.
Mm-hmm.
So would you be afraid of that they are, I don't know the word I'm looking for, but that they are watching other people's reaction to your art and then using that against those people that are traveling through the airport?
Yeah, but why? For me, I think there are thousands of cameras in the airport, and if you watch advertising display or my piece from the behavior of the people, I don't know if they're really interesting information about. I don't know.
So you have very elegant and sleek pieces. I was wondering about the choice of color. They are black, metal, and white. So if you can tell us a little bit more about that, and if you have worked also with colorful pieces. Obviously, your art is not intended to be hidden. You want it to be very prominent and visible. Thanks.
I like the reduction of form also, and the color is for me very difficult and special. So with the white, you have a lot of gray scales in from the light. The sculpture form brings it quite good over, but on the other hand, this very clinic finish reminds to research machines. So something serious, I think. So something really industrial made. I don't like to have them too funny in a way with color. Colors brings, yeah, Gratwanderung. I like it if you see some very serious, that you're thinking it's a research product, but then there is a gap or it's something completely else, and to gamble with this. This is maybe, and the white is more maybe this, from the first view, the good things, the black, the evil, and sometimes, but that's not really true. Sometimes behind the white is the evil.
We have about 3 minutes left, so we probably have time for a couple more questions.
You mentioned that part of the reason the pieces are engaging is that they're a bit unpredictable in how they respond. Do you introduce any deliberate randomness into the code, or does that unpredictability just arise out of other pieces?
That's random. This is a kind of programmed random in the code. So because I'm not so interested if you switch something kind of very clear on or off. So if I go to this motion sensor, then it makes this, the other that. That's a little bit, for me, in the interaction of the piece, boring. So if something happened, what you don't know what's happened, that's more exciting for me, because then you are projecting kind of intelligence to the piece that this do not have. You understand me what I try to speak? I don't know. Yeah.
Hi, I'm fascinated by the idea of sort of transforming the gallery space in a way. When you think about a traditional gallery space, there often are cameras watching the patrons to make sure they don't take things. And I was wondering if people, in interacting with your art, sort of become more aware of the surveillance that is around them in general.
I didn't understand what you mean. Please, can you explain again?
Well, so I was just thinking about how, I guess in a traditional gallery space, you're not used to the art watching you, but you are being watched, right? You are being watched by surveillance cameras. And so I wondered if, and you talked about in the airport, you're being watched all the time, but why would a person respond just to your artwork that way when they're being watched by cameras all the time? So I wonder if your art in general brings more awareness to people, or makes people aware that they're being watched in a way that ordinary surveillance doesn't.
Yeah, that would be. That's a kind of idea behind that, to open the mind to think more how to use surveillance technology to handle with this, and because it's really it has such an impact on the society, with face tracking, however, what's all in the developing. And we are shifting to a glass society in a way. So I like to question the people a little bit that they're more thinking about.
Unfortunately, I think that's all the time we have. So if I could ask for a round of applause for our presenter and speaker, Mr. Schulke.